Hey everybody, welcome back to Conscientious Omnivore. My name is Pal, out here in the garden today, and wanted to share you guys an update with the compost, and specifically the Humanure composting that we do here. We've been living in the tiny house now for a little over a year. We're actually just about a year, I think, maybe a few days over a year, but right about a year. And we've now been living here full time with a family of 4, and it's been going great. I just wanted to tell you guys how happy I am with the system, and couldn't be easier. And I wanted to give kind of a few thoughts on it, as well as kind of give a few caveats that if anybody's wanting to do this, what I would recommend and what I would not recommend. So yeah, basically what you're looking at here is our current pile that I am still adding to, although pretty soon I will probably stop adding to this pile because it's gotten big enough. The way that it works is usually I have kind of at least 2 piles going. That's our previous pile over here. And once I find that it's big enough and I want to stop and make a new one, then I leave the old pile sitting for at least 1 year before I use it. Now that pile is probably about maybe 7 or 8 months old at this point, and I'm not ready to use it yet. But what I wanted to show you guys is that it's actually already looking pretty broken down. Like, there isn't really anything gross or anything visible in there. The gray bits here are actually ash and some charcoal from our fire that you can see. Same up here. And really it just looks like a bunch of mostly broken down sawdust. I'm going to give this at least, like I say, another 5 months or so. So I probably won't be using this in any place in the garden for maybe basically in the fall time is when I'm going to actually use it for anything. But in the meantime, I might actually move it, only because we have an older compost pile here. This one actually doesn't have any Humanure in it anymore, but it had a lot of like woody material and like branches and stuff that is not breaking down fast. It also has some kitchen scraps and things left over. It also has some bits of rotting wood, like from an old fence over there and things like that. It's an unpainted little bit of trellis. So it's like, it's really kind of slow to break down. And this is kind of a nice little spot that, if you guys remember from previous videos, I kind of planted these little, and by planted, I mean I literally chopped off the tops of those bushes and just jammed them into the ground here. And half of them rooted. So it makes for a nice little kind of screen to hide the compost pile, which just looks a little bit tidier than the big pile of leaves. As you can see here, there's some kitchen scraps in the back too. And I've added some, you know, branches and stuff to this too. So this will take quite a while to break down. And I don't want to make a third pile in another place right now. We have enough space. I could do it if I wanted, but I don't really want to do that. So I think what I'm going to do is come in here and move this pile on top of this pile and just let it sit again until the fall time, and then I'll be able to use it. And then when I stop adding to this pile, I'm just going to come back in here and start adding here again. So I think that's what I'm going to do, but that's neither here nor there. I just wanted to give you guys kind of a few words about this. Now, one thing that you might wonder to yourself is, you know, why don't I have it like fenced in, or in, you know, I could use like pallets or some other type of, you know, basic structure to like hold it all together and whatever. And I think that's one of the caveats that I want to say, is that if you have pets or small children, thankfully my kids are old enough now that they know any better than to come and play in here, I would absolutely recommend that. I wouldn't do it in just a big pile like this. I would do some kind of a container around it, even maybe using some scrap sheet metal or something else to kind of keep everything together. Or just, you know, like pallet wood or some kind of fencing, just to kind of keep it all together. The other thing is, if you have pets, like, you know, if you have dogs or cats, like potentially they might come in here and start digging around. That is obviously not something you would want either. So I would definitely say, if you have pets or small kids, definitely don't do it this way. But for us, it works, and our yard is fenced in. We don't have like wild animals coming through. That would be another thing. Like if you were on a big property with like wildlife that, you know, comes in here, like maybe you wouldn't want to do it this way either. Because they might dig through looking for the kitchen scraps or other stuff, and then you have like, you know, the Humanure being exposed. So that would not be good. But our property is fenced in. We don't have that issue. So for me, it works, and it's low effort. So this is the way I do it. The only kind of wildlife that we really deal with is like birds will come into the more mature pile and they will eat out grubs and worms and stuff out of that. But again, that doesn't really bother me, and I don't view it as a, you know, any kind of like concern, because they're not really doing much of anything. They're just poking around in there and then they fly off. And I cover all of the Humanure with ample, basically either leaves or sawdust, so none of the actual waste is actually visible to the surface. So basically what I do is I collect a bunch of bags of leaves and grass clippings and stuff like that throughout the year, usually in the fall times when I get a big bunch together at the same time, and then I will put our deposits out here, and then I will cover it with a bunch of leaves and just keep adding more leaves to the top. One thing, if you're limited for space, I would say that's the other caveat that I want to talk about, is you could do this on a much smaller space. If you are limited, just build a container, like I said, and then just simply do something where you keep like maybe a shovel that you use for this purpose and you don't want to use it for anything else. And then, you know, maybe just have like your pile, you pull off the top, you dump in your fresh contents, you push back the top of whatever covering you have, and that way you're not adding so much covering all the time and increasing the volume of the pile. Because this looks like a lot, but most of it is leaves and or grass clippings or like small branches, as you see kind of poking through the sides there. So yeah, that's pretty much all I really want to say about it. But I guess, you know, the system works for us. Like I say, it's very easy. I mean, I empty our bucket every day. It takes like 5 minutes. I walk it out here, I dump it out, I wash out the bucket. It takes me like 5 minutes, and then I'm like ready to go, put in more sawdust. And that's, you know, that's easy as pie. I don't use any kind of like urine diverter or anything like that. It's just literally a big, you know, 5-gallon bucket or 15 liter, whatever it is, something like that. And basically we just use that as the system. I do have to empty it every day, and I really don't mind doing it. It's something that I actually kind of enjoy, in the sense of I'm really happy that we have like more, you know, like more fertility being added to our property. So the way I look at it is like it's black gold, and the, you know, after about a year of sitting out here, and it's just like great. I really don't mind it at all. It's kind of like, you know, there's no real difficulty about it. I think people always ask, like, does it smell? It doesn't. We've had people come and visit us. They are always kind of amazed that like there's no smell in the house, there's no smell out here. You can be right here next to it. I'm 2-3 feet away from the pile here. You literally can't smell anything. All you can smell is like the rainy, like wet leaves. Like it just smells like spring right now. So yeah, I mean, the only time you do smell anything is when you're actually emptying the bucket. There is a smell, and as soon as I dump the leaves on top, I usually add some more water at the top too, to keep the leaves down and make sure wind doesn't blow off the leaves. That's it. I mean, it's like for that 2-3 minutes before I've covered it, there is a smell. It's really the smell of urine. That's kind of the only thing you do smell. You do not smell that in the house, because we always, you know, use the sawdust to cover everything. So if you smell anything in the house, you're not adding enough covering. That's the only other tip I would say too, if you want to try this. So yeah, I think it's a really great system. I couldn't recommend it enough. I'm really thrilled. I can show you guys the broken down compost here that we had in our previous more mature pile that I've actually moved, but you can still see some of the remnants here kind of at the front of the property. And you can just see that it's just beautiful, you know, soil basically. All around here it was a big pile, and now there's just mostly like just some grass clippings and branches that got thrown at the top here. But here you can see the soil, and this is what it will look like afterward. So this has probably been sitting out here, I think this is the 2nd year now. So the compost was sitting here for a year, and then now another year has gone by. There's a little worm down there too, so cover him back up. But yeah, there's just nothing, you know, it just breaks down. Beautiful soil that you can add around your fruit trees or in your garden in other areas. And it's a great system. I couldn't be happier with it. It's as easy as can be. So yeah, the only thing I would add at the end here as well is if you're living in an area where it's really cold outside and you have like very heavy you know, snow or anything like that, could be a little bit more inconvenient to have to bring the stuff out. You know, at the end of the day, we do get snow, but it's not so bad, and also we get rain and, you know, kind of nasty weather. So on those days it might not be the biggest you know, most pleasant task to do at the end of the day, but I mean, it's fine. I like I say, it takes me about 5 minutes. I've gotten completely used to it. None of it bothers me, and I get lots of cover material for the pile outside for free. In the fall time, people put out leaves like by the, you know, hundreds of bags full in just the nearby streets. So when I'm just driving, coming to and fro, I usually pick up a few bags, and I think I went through maybe about 20 bags so far, and I have like 14 bags left at the moment. Oh, actually no, I have a few more left over here because I have a few around our pomegranate bush, which I have not taken out yet. So that's another, I think 4 or 5 bags, maybe 6, I don't know. So I probably have like 20 bags left, and I've probably gone through about 20 bags. So it's like a really pretty easy thing to do. It does not cost me any kind of money. If you compare it to the price of a septic, you know, removal, emptying, like I would probably have to be doing that 2-3 times a year. I mean, we're talking probably a savings of like thousands of dollars every year with this system. Plus I'm getting the benefit of the compost that I can use in the garden. And the last thing I'll show you guys is the stuff that we use inside the house to cover the deposits after you go. I'll show that to you in a second. So yeah, this is what we use. It's just basically rough sawdust that we get from the sawmill that processes firewood nearby, and we get it for free. Basically we just usually bring a few you know, little treats for the people that work there. They're really kind to us, and they'll allow us to take as much as we want. So just bring them some chocolate and some bottled water every once in a while, and they're really happy. And they are actually thrilled that we take away some of the stuff, because for them this is a waste and they have to actually remove it. For us it's great because it doesn't really cost much money at all. I could say that it's virtually free. So basically, like, the whole system is almost free. I mean, there's a little bit of gas involved in like getting to and from, and, you know, bringing a few boxes of this stuff. I go through one of these big bins. It's probably maybe a little over a foot tall, maybe 2 feet wide, and a foot across roughly. I go through a bin like this every maybe 2 weeks or so, I think, roughly, something like that. So you know, like I say, use ample covering when you've done your business. This actually has a very pleasant, just woody smell. When people come to our house, they're always surprised. There's like never any kind of smell. Mrs. CO was the biggest skeptic of the compost toilet idea when we first moved in, and she has admitted that she has been so pleasantly surprised by using the system. She loves it, and well, maybe that's an exaggeration, but I love it, and she can tolerate it. And she says though that the you know, there is no smell. She's totally fine with it, and she's actually been very pleasantly surprised, because she just really thought it would be a lot more annoying using this than it actually is. And I think really part of the reason for us doing it is the you know, financial benefit. I mean, we're saving a lot of money by not having to have a septic tank deal with our waste. But I think in the broader sense, like, I'm really happy because we're using our own waste locally and turning it into a positive that is actually contributing to the soil health of our property, and will help us grow our food forest here and food for years to come. And I just think that's a really awesome thing. So I'm really happy about it. I hope you guys found this helpful. If you did, please do give it a thumbs up. I really appreciate everybody's support, and I hope to see you in another video soon. Bye.